I still can't get over how brilliant it was that men convinced women that we're so manipulative, as if that alone is what we are, and that they are definitely not. They're just dumb, or they just are like dogs, so easy to follow, figure out what. Now, I'm not saying they aren't easy to figure out sometimes, but the way that we have underestimated these, and I want to give you an example. I think about this almost daily because this happened at the boulangerie, right, that I go to regularly. And every time I see where it happened, I think of this man and the way he brilliantly got a whole town of women doing his work for him. And so he had his child and his wife. I didn't know if he had a wife with him. I did not know what was going on until it played out later on. But this man had a child, and this was like in the stroller. And I was having coffee with one of these old ladies I've befriended. I've become a part of like a little Golden Girls group here, and I love that for me. I love having women friends way older than me, younger than me, all around me, because I learn from all age groups. And I was sitting there literally talking about teaching her the concept of weaponized incompetence, because she got it. She absolutely got it, but she didn't know that there was language for that, right? So thank you, Laura Danger, for making that term more accessible, or just helping popularizing that term more and speaking on it. Because once you see it, you don't unsee it. So I was literally, and it's not that they know what that is here in France, but sometimes the things, it takes a while for things to go over the ocean, right? From France to the US to the France. So I was telling her about this country. She's like, oh, yeah. Wow, there's a word for it now. And then we literally saw it happen. This man had a child, like, I don't know, like a toddler. And it kept interrupting us because it was screaming. like it was so, and me and my little ADHD and also perimenopausal brain are like very, get very overwhelmed with noises, smells, and whatever. And so it's really hard for me I couldn't tune this kid out. I was trying so hard to pay it, but and like everybody was having a hard time tuning this child out because this child was in distress. I mean, whatever, it was just having a temper tantrum. But the way that father just stood there and did nothing, I can't believe he could just tolerate that level. Either he has a cold, dead heart, or he was playing a game of like chicken, right? Emotional labor chicken. I'm not going to do this emotional labor, bitch. You better come out of here and do it. And because apparently his wife was in the boulangerie getting cakes and a bunch of stuff, because I don't know, I guess they're on their way to a birthday party or something. And while she was in there doing things for the family, purchasing things, doing another version of labor, all he had to do was stand with this child. The child was losing their crap. The way that I saw multiple women stop and console this man's child, a stranger, they don't know this child, but they're just like, oh, this poor man must not know how to do it. They came in because like an empathetic human being would. They wanted to help this child who was losing their crap. And they also, because that's the way women are conditioned, were thinking of the impact of this child on everybody. It was stressing everybody out, right? It is hard for humans to tune out babies and children crying as if they are like, they're dying, even though like we know that because they can't emotionally regulate at the level of an adult can, so women were coming in and being like, oh, I'm in a minute. And then they were like, okay, well, I got to go. And then, he'd start, and the man did nothing. I could not believe how willfully he did nothing. Totally unbothered. And I was just like, so I was like, that's right there, right there is what I'm talking about. This is this man's own child. It is not that he doesn't know how. I don't have like maternal instincts. Women, I'm going to read something from one of my favorite creators on here who wrote an amazing book. I'm going to read exactly what this is in a second. I do not know how to take care of children, okay? I had to learn that skill from experience of having nieces and then babysitting and then becoming a nanny. But I do not get this naturally, okay? I was afraid to hold babies until like my 30s because I thought I was going to break them. The same way men often do that. Right? So I had to learn that through experience and learn that through watching people with children, how they did it. And even had to learn through mistakes, especially with toddlers. Oh, okay. Just like you have to kind of like distract them a lot. You can't just take the toy out of their hand if they're like, sometimes you'd be like, can I have that? And then you're like, whatever. There's like, it's all contextual, right? But I learned this skill of how to deal with children, and still like people still like at the end of the day, they're just going to do what they're going to do, right? So I do not naturally have it in me. But I promise you, that man has spent enough time with that child just being in a house with it where he knows what to do on some level, but will not, chooses not to, and instead burdens the whole community with that task. I'm sorry, the women in the community with that task. Women who had their own children to look after were going up and being like, everyone's solving this man's problems but him. And then his wife finally came out and she was so embarrassed by the scene that man made. And up until being on TikTok and learning so much from my mutual, and then starting to look back on my life, and even my father and the things he said when he literally told us that when he saw my brother-in-law changing a diaper, he was like, wow, look at you. And he's like, well, it's my child. Of course, I'm changing her diaper. And my dad literally said, oh, I didn't do that. If I saw the girls had crapped their pants, I just let it ride till their mom came home. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe you're okay admitting that out loud. You literally let us sit in diapers for hours because you just didn't want to do it. That's all it's about. And this man didn't want to do it. And more importantly, he wanted to punish that woman. Don't ever leave our child with me. I will not console the child. And the way this man let his child suffer publicly, just suffer alone, like just suffer in general. That's one thing. But suffer and have everyone looking at the child, which also maybe impacted him. And then let the mom suffer, like the way he let all these people experience pain. All of us sitting there being like, oh my God, please let that child stop crying. That man terrorized all of us, including his own family, because he didn't want to do it. And that's it. Just didn't want to. It's a game of emotional labor chicken. And in the end, he won. Because I guarantee you that wife will probably think twice about leaving her child, because it's her child more than his. He might as well, he's just a sperm donor, honestly. Maybe pays some bills. The manipulation that goes into that one example. Man, I can't believe they convinced us they were stupid. I don't know how to do it. I forgot to do it. They don't want to, and that's it. And even if they don't know how, it's a choice. And as Rose Hackman says in her amazing book, and I had her on a live on my Patreon. Please join my Patreon if you haven't already. There's so many cool interviews over there. Emotional labor. Go buy this book. Emotional labor, just like physical labor, intellectual labor, and creative labor, is a form of work that does require time, effort, and skill. And yet, the best way to maintain a system in which women work for little to nothing and for the benefit of others, especially men, is to convince society that they're not working at all. That all the stuff that these women who came by, that the mother herself, that is not, we're not working. We're just doing what's natural. And this man doesn't know how to do it. It's not that it's work he doesn't want to do, because emotional labor isn't work. He just doesn't know how to do it. And as she says in another part of the book, this kind of mentality of casting emotional labor as natural for women holds us hostage. And she talks about in the book how emotional labor has been, relegated to the private sphere, the home, and therefore it doesn't make money, and therefore it's not valuable because you do it out of the goodness of your heart and because you're just naturally good at it. And men aren't good at it. So we should just do it for free all the time because they can't do it. Not that they won't, because they just don't want to. What a number they pulled on us. This is the Comet Song Boulangerie edition. This is the fresh bread baguettes that they make every day. Cost €1 for that bread. Well, that's the starting price anyway. I don't know, I eat too much bread because that's all they eat here is bread, and cheese, and wine, and meat. Anyway, that's the Comet Song. Type something if you want to during the Comet Song. Lots of bread, more bread, and communism. Yeah, that sign is right next to the boulangerie. Join the Communist Party here. Anyway, that's my Comet Song. Sorry, I got no voice. Et voilà.